Days passed on Velara, and Kian could see that Princess Tira was changing. The challenge she had given him was difficult, but her eyes no longer held the sharp suspicion they had at the start. Instead, a quiet curiosity shone through, as if she was slowly opening her heart to a new way of thinking. But there was still one part of the princess's doubt that Kian wanted to understand and help her with: trust. Velaran culture was built on cycles and natural bonds, but humans relied heavily on trust. Trust was not automatic. It was built step by step, day by day. Kian decided it was time to show the princess how humans build trust and kept it strong. That morning, Kian invited Princess Tira to walk with him in the palace gardens. The air was cool and fragrant, filled with the soft glow of bioluminescent plants. It was quiet except for the gentle hum of Velaran wildlife. Princess, Kian began. Trust is one of the most important parts of human bonds. Without trust, bonds cannot grow or survive. Tira looked at him thoughtfully. On Velara, trust is tied to the season of light. It is natural and strong. How do humans build trust when it is not given by nature? Kian smiled gently. Humans build trust by showing care and honesty. When someone says they will be there and they keep their word, trust grows. When they listen and forgive mistakes, trust grows stronger. As they walked, Kian stopped near a glowing tree. Let me tell you a story, he said. There was a woman named Mara who lived on Earth. She had a friend named Jorah. One day, Jorah made a mistake that hurt Mara's feelings. Mara was angry and sad, but she chose to talk with Jorah instead of walking away. They listened to each other, shared their feelings, and forgave. Their trust grew even stronger. Princess Tira's eyes softened. That is different from Velara. We do not often forgive so easily. Kian nodded. Forgiveness is hard, but it is part of what makes human bonds strong. We choose to keep connection alive even when it is difficult. Suddenly, a small Velaran child ran up, holding a strange glowing flower. She smiled shyly at Kian and Tira. Kian knelt and said, "Thank you." Then he turned to the princess. See, trust is also built through small acts like kindness. Tira reached out and gently touched the child's hand. For a moment, she seemed to understand something new. Back in the palace, Kian arranged for a special gathering, a Velaran tradition where people shared personal stories around a fire. That evening, the hall filled with nobles and scientists, all curious to hear these human stories. Kian began. Trust is not given once and never questioned. It is earned every day, he said. He told stories of people who kept promises, helped each other in hard times, and worked through misunderstandings. Princess Tira listened closely, her face calm. After the stories, Kian invited the Velarans to share their own experiences. A noble spoke of a time when trust had been broken, but repaired through honest words. Another told of how forgiveness helped heal old wounds. The room grew, warm with shared understanding. The Velarans began to see trust not just as a natural cycle, but as something built with care and effort. At the end of the night, Princess Tira stood and addressed the group. Today, I have learned that trust can be a choice, a daily promise, to care and listen. This is different from my people's ways, but it is beautiful. I thank Kian for teaching me this lesson. Kian bowed. I am honored, Princess. Trust is the heart of human bonds, and I am glad to share it with you. As the gathering ended, Kian and Tira walked outside under the twin moons. The princess looked up at the stars and said quietly, "Your people's bonds are strong because they choose to be strong. It is not easy, but it is real." Kian smiled. That is the truth, Princess. Humans choose love and trust every day. In all seasons, the princess looked at Kian and nodded. I see now that your bonds are not lies. They are a different kind of strength, one that Velara can learn from. Ren sat quietly in the small, metal room aboard the starship Voyager. His heart beat faster than usual. For weeks, he had been traveling through space, far beyond Earth's borders, to a distant planet called Valen. Now, something was happening that he did not expect. Earlier that day, a message arrived from the Valen Royal Palace. The message was simple but powerful. You are to meet with Princess Nira." Immediately, Ren had heard stories about Princess Nira before. She was blind, born without sight, yet she was the strongest leader her people had ever known. Many said she had a special way of sensing the world that went beyond what normal eyes could see. Some even whispered that she could see the future. Ren did not know why she wanted to meet him. He was just an explorer sent by Earth to study the Valen planet and its culture. But now, as the metal doors to the palace opened, he felt a mix of fear and curiosity. The room where he was led was large and bright. Strange plants grew in tall pots, their leaves glowing softly under the alien lights. Standing at the center was Nira. She wore a simple robe, but there was something regal about her posture. Her eyes, covered by a delicate silver blindfold, showed no fear. "Ren," she said in a voice that was calm but strong, "thank you for coming." Ren bowed slightly. "Princess Nira, it is an honor. How can I help you?" Nira stepped forward, and for the first time, Ren noticed how she moved, with great care and grace. "I have called you here because I need a partner." Ren blinked. "A partner? For what?" She smiled gently. "Not just any partner. A partner to share a sacred duty. A bond that is old as our people and yours." Ren was confused. The Valen and humans had never been close before. There had been trade and meetings, but no ancient traditions or bonds. "Please," Nira said, raising her hand. "I will explain." She moved to a table and touched a small glowing orb. Suddenly, images appeared in the air, showing stars, planets, and strange symbols. "Our people, the Valen, have a special ritual. It is called the Pact of Unity. Long ago, our ancestors made an agreement with humans and alliance to protect each other against great dangers in space." Ren listened carefully. The images showed a huge fleet of dark ships attacking peaceful planets. But the ritual requires two people to become partners, to link their minds and strength. Nira continued. "This bond activates a powerful defense system hidden deep in our world. Without it, we are vulnerable." Ren looked at her. "And you want me to be your partner?" "Yes," she said simply. "Because you are human, and because you have qualities that the Valen need. This is not just about me. It is about saving my people and maybe many others." Ren's mind raced. Could he accept such a responsibility? He was just one man, a stranger on this alien world. "Why me?" he asked. Nira smiled again. "Because I have felt your presence since you arrived. You have courage, kindness, and an open heart. These are rare and powerful gifts. I believe we can succeed together." Ren looked into the blindfold that covered her eyes. He wondered what it was like to live without sight. Yet here was a princess who ruled her people with wisdom and strength. "Tell me more," he said finally. Nira nodded and led him to a large window overlooking the planet's capital city. The sky was filled with strange colors, swirling and shining like the northern lights on Earth. "Our people face a danger coming soon," she explained. "A fleet of invaders called the Cretans approaches. They destroy everything in their path. Our weapons and ships are not strong enough to stop them." Ren felt a chill. He had heard stories of the Cretans before, aliens who attacked planets for resources, caring nothing for life. But with the Pact of Unity, the Valen defense system will awaken. It can protect the planet, the cities, and the people. "How does the pact work?" Ren asked. "It requires a deep connection between two beings, a human and a Valen. When bonded, they share thoughts, feelings, and strength. They become more than two. They become one powerful force." Ren swallowed hard. "Is this a permanent bond?" "Yes," Nira said. "It is a partnership of trust and loyalty. You will support me, and I will support you. Together, we will face what is coming." Ren thought about his family back on Earth. Could he risk everything for this distant world? But looking at Nira, he saw hope and determination. She was not asking for a favor. She was offering a chance to stand together, to protect lives that might otherwise be lost. "I will do it," Ren said quietly. Nira smiled warmly. "Thank you, Ren. You honor me." Suddenly, the doors to the room opened again. A group of Valen guards entered, bowing deeply to Nira and then to Ren. "It is time to begin the training," Nira said. You must learn to trust me and my ways. And I must learn yours. Only then can the pact be complete. Ren nodded. He felt nervous, but ready. This was no ordinary mission. It was the beginning of something greater than he had ever imagined. As they walked out into the bright hallways of the palace, Ren looked up at the vast stars beyond the windows. Somewhere out there, the cretins were coming, but with Nira by his side, he felt a spark of hope, a chance for humans and Valen to stand together and face the darkness. Ren followed Princess Nira through the long corridors of the palace. His steps echoed softly on the polished floor. He noticed the walls were covered with strange symbols and glowing paintings that told stories of the Valen people's stories, of courage, honor, and ancient battles. Nira moved with confidence despite her blindness. Ren was amazed at how she seemed to sense everything around her. At times, she would pause, turn slowly, and touch the walls or the air as if reading invisible words. It was clear her other senses were very strong. Finally, they reached a large chamber deep inside the palace. The room was round, with a high ceiling that curved like the inside of a shell. In the center stood a large stone pedestal with glowing lines etched into its surface. This, Nira said, is the heart of Valen. It is the core of our ancient defense system, but it only awakens when two chosen partners complete the pact of unity. Ren stepped closer and ran his hand over the glowing lines. A soft hum filled the air, and the symbols flickered with light. Nira's voice grew serious. The pact is old, older than any history book. It was made when the Valen faced their first great threat. Our ancestors needed allies and found them in humans. Together, they created this bond to protect their worlds. Ren listened closely as Nira told him about the ancient ceremony. The partners would share a bond that connected their minds and hearts. Through this bond, they would share strength, courage, and wisdom. Why is this bond so important now? Ren asked. The cretins, Nira said. They have grown stronger and more dangerous. Their ships carry weapons that can destroy entire planets. Alone, the Valen cannot stop them. But the pact can awaken the power to defend us. Ren looked at the glowing pedestal. How do we form the pact? It is not simple, Nira answered. It requires trust, honesty, and a willingness to share everything, your thoughts, your fears, your hopes. We will learn to feel each other's presence, even across distances. Only then will the heart of Valen respond. Ren felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He was about to enter a bond that went beyond anything he had ever imagined. Nira extended her hand. Are you ready to begin? Ren nodded and took her hand gently. As their fingers touched, a strange warmth spread through his body. It was like a soft light glowing inside him. Close your eyes, Nira said. Ren obeyed. He felt her breath, steady and calm. As she guided him through the first steps of the pact, they sat quietly, hands still joined, focusing on each other's presence. At first, it was difficult. Ren's mind wandered, and his thoughts jumped from one thing to another. But Nira's calmness helped him relax. Slowly, he began to sense her heartbeat, her emotions, her strength. The room round them seemed to fade away. All that mattered was the connection growing between them. After some time, Nira spoke softly. Tell me what you feel. Ren thought carefully. I feel calm, like we are not alone, like you are here with me. Even though I cannot see you, Nira smiled. Good. That is the first step, to feel the other's presence without using sight. Ren opened his eyes and looked at her. She smiled back, as if they had shared a secret. Over the next hours, Nira explained more about the history of the pact. She told him how past partners had saved worlds and how their bond had inspired peace between many species. But forming the bond is only the beginning, Nira warned. We must learn to work together, to share our strengths and protect each other's weaknesses. Ren nodded. I want to help. I want to learn. Nira's smile grew brighter. Good. Tomorrow, we begin the training. You will learn to trust your other senses. I will teach you how to see the world without eyes. Ren felt both excited and nervous. The idea of losing reliance on sight was strange to him. But he trusted Nira and wanted to be ready for whatever lay ahead. before he left the chamber. Nira placed a small device in his hand. This is a communicator. It will link us even when we are apart. Use it to share your thoughts and feelings. Ren turned the device over, feeling its smooth surface. Thank you, Princess. Nira bowed her head. No. Thank you, Ren. Together, we will protect our people and build a future. As Ren left the chamber, he thought about what lay ahead. The bond he was forming was more than a ritual. It was a chance to be part of something greater than himself. Back in his quarters, Ren looked out at the stars. He felt a new sense of purpose. Soon, he and Nira would become partners in every sense of the word. And when the Cretans arrived, they would stand together stronger than anyone had ever imagined. The next morning, Ren arrived early at the training hall deep within the Valen Palace. The room was large and empty, except for a few strange devices and soft glowing lights along the walls. Ren's heart beat fast with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today, he would begin learning how to trust Princess Nira and understand her world, a world without sight. Nira was already there, waiting. Her blindfold was tied tightly but gently around her head, and she stood perfectly still, sensing the room with her other sharp senses. Good morning, Ren, she said with a calm voice. Good morning, Princess, Ren replied, bowing slightly. Nira smiled. Today, I will teach you to see in a new way. Ren blinked, confused. But how can I see without using my eyes? Nira stepped closer. Your eyes are only one part of how you understand the world. You have other senses: hearing, smell, touch, and even intuition. You just need to learn to trust them. Ren took a deep breath. I'm ready. Nira reached out and touched Ren's arm gently. Close your eyes. Ren closed his eyes as instructed. For a moment, the world became quiet and dark. Now, Nira said softly, listen carefully. Ren focused on the sounds around him, the hum of the lights, the soft footsteps of Nira, the faint breath of the air moving through the room. Slowly, he began to notice more the tiny creak of the floor, the flutter of his own heartbeat. Nira spoke again. Can you feel me nearby? Ren concentrated. It was strange, but he thought he could sense a presence close to him, not through sight, but something deeper, something like a feeling. Yes, Ren said, his voice soft. Good. Nira replied. Now, try to move toward me without opening your eyes. Ren took a careful step forward. He felt the air change, the warmth of Nira's body growing closer. Slowly, she said, trust your other senses. With each step, Ren learned to listen and feel more deeply. It was difficult, but after several attempts, he stood right beside Nira without opening his eyes. You are improving, Nira said with a proud smile. Ren opened his eyes and looked at her. I never knew I could rely on other senses so much. Nira nodded. Your eyes have limited your understanding. The universe is much more than what you see. For the next few hours, they practiced together. Nira taught Ren to recognize different sounds, smells, and even vibrations through the floor. They communicated without words, using touch and subtle movements. Ren was amazed at how much he could learn when he stopped relying only on his eyes. And Nira, in turn, began to trust Ren's judgment and courage. During a break, Ren asked, Princess, how did you learn to live without sight so well? Nira smiled softly. I was born blind. At first, I was afraid, but my family and teachers helped me. I trained every day to use my other senses. Over time, I learned to see the world in my own way. Ren looked at her with admiration. You are very strong. Nira's smile deepened. Strength comes in many forms. You will find yours too. As the sun outside began to set, Nira led Ren to a different part of the palace, the Hall of Memories. It was a place where the Valen kept their history and lessons from the past. There, Nira showed Ren an ancient mural depicting two figures, one human, one Valen standing together, holding hands. Between them was a glowing symbol, like the one Ren had seen on the heart of Valen. This is the first pact of unity, Nira explained. Our ancestors made this bond to protect peace. Ren studied the mural. Do you think we can be like them? Strong enough to save your people? Nira's voice was firm. We must be. The future depends on it. Ren felt the weight of those words. It was not just a challenge, it was a promise. Before they left the hall, Nira handed Ren a small, smooth stone. This is a Valen Trust stone. It reminds us to be honest, patient, and brave. Keep it with you. Ren nodded, slipping the stone into his pocket. It felt warm, like a small flame of hope. That night, Ren lay in his quarters, thinking about everything he had learned. The training was hard, but it was also opening a new world to him, a world where sight was not the only way to understand. He thought about Nira, the blind princess who could lead an entire planet with wisdom and courage. He wondered how two very different beings like them could become partners. But deep inside, he knew they needed each other. They were stronger together. As he closed his eyes, Ren tried to feel Nira's presence once more, reaching out through the strange bond they were beginning to share. A soft voice echoed in his mind. Gentle and sure, "You are not alone, Ren. We will face this together." Ren smiled. For the first time since arriving on Valen, he felt ready. The sun had barely risen over the planet Valen when Ren and Princess Nira stood before the entrance of the ancient Trial of Shadows. The trial was a test designed long ago by the ancestors of the Valen. It was meant to challenge partners to see if they could work together under pressure and danger. Passing the trial was necessary to complete the Pact of Unity. Nira looked calm, her blindfold firmly in place, and her hand rested lightly on Ren's arm. Ren felt a mix of nervousness and determination. He had no idea what the trial would be like, but he knew it would test everything he had learned so far. The massive stone doors before them slowly opened with a deep rumble, revealing a dark corridor that seemed to stretch into endless shadows. A cold breeze brushed against their skin as they stepped inside. "This is where trust becomes real," Nira said softly. "We must depend on each other completely." Ren nodded. "I'm ready." As they moved forward, the corridor walls began to shift. Strange lights flickered, creating illusions that played tricks on their minds. Sounds echoed strangely, and sometimes the path seemed to disappear. It was hard for Ren to trust what he saw or heard. "Remember," Nira whispered, "trust your other senses, and trust me." Ren closed his eyes briefly, trying to feel the presence of Nira beside him. Even though he could not see well in the dark, he sensed her steady breath and calm heartbeat. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shook, and a hidden door opened to their left. Without hesitation, Nira took Ren's hand and led him through. The next chamber was filled with thick fog, making it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. Ren reached out, searching for Nira's hand. Her fingers met his, and together they moved slowly through the mist. The silence was broken by a strange sound, a low growl that echoed all around them. Ren's heart pounded. "What is that?" Nira's voice was steady. "It is the shadow beast. It guards this part of the trial." Ren felt a cold sweat on his forehead, but knew he had to stay calm. "Close your eyes," Nira instructed. "Listen." Ren obeyed. The growl grew louder and closer. He focused on the sounds, the rhythm of the beast's breathing, the soft steps on the stone floor. Then, a large shape moved in the fog, heading toward them. "Hold tight," Nira said. Ren squeezed her hand. Suddenly, Nira stepped forward and reached out. Without sight, she touched the beast's fur, soft and warm. The growl stopped. Ren opened his eyes, astonished. The beast was calm now, looking up at Nira as if it trusted her. "The beast senses fear," Nira explained, "but also trust and courage." "We passed." Ren smiled with relief. They continued deeper into the trial. In the next room, they faced puzzles that required working together, shifting stones, moving beams of light, and solving riddles written in the ancient Valen language. Ren was surprised how much he relied on Nira's instincts and knowledge. Nira, in turn, listened to Ren's ideas, valuing his fresh perspective. Hours passed as they worked side by side, overcoming every obstacle. Finally, they reached the last chamber. It was a vast, empty space with only one object in the center, a glowing crystal that pulsed with energy. "This is the heart of shadows," Nira said. "We must activate it together to complete the trial." Ren stepped forward, feeling the warmth of the crystal. But as soon as he touched it, the room grew dark. Shadows danced around them, whispering doubts and fears. Ren felt a wave of fear. Thoughts raced through his mind. What if he failed? What if he could not protect Nira or her people? Nira's voice broke through the darkness. Ren, remember our bond. Trust me. Trust yourself. Taking a deep breath, Ren reached out to hold Nira's hand. Together, they focused on their connection, the warmth of their touch, the strength of their shared courage. Slowly, the shadows faded, and the crystal glowed brighter than before. The trial was over. Exhausted but victorious, Ren and Nira stood. Together, the bond between them felt stronger than ever, a silent promise of trust and unity. Nira smiled warmly. We have passed the trial of shadows. Now, the pact of unity can be completed. Ren nodded. Feeling a new confidence, I'm ready for whatever comes next. As they left the chamber, the palace around them seemed brighter, filled with hope. Outside, the sky was a brilliant mix of colors, signaling the start of a new day. Ren and Nira walked side by side, ready to face the future together. After passing the trial of shadows, Ren and Princess Nira returned to the palace with a new sense of hope and purpose. The air felt different, as if the planet itself was aware of their success. They were no longer just strangers trying to understand each other. They were partners, bound by something ancient and powerful. The next day, the entire palace gathered in the grand hall for the pact ceremony. Valen nobles, elders, and trusted friends filled the room. The walls glowed softly with shimmering lights, and the air hummed with quiet excitement. Ren stood beside Nira, his heart pounding. This was the moment when their bond would become real for everyone to see. He glanced at Nira, who smiled calmly despite the weight of the ceremony. The High Elder, an aged Valen with bright eyes and silver hair, stepped forward. He carried a small, intricately carved box made of crystal and metal. This day marks a new chapter for our people, the Elder announced, his voice strong. Ren and Nira have passed the trial of shadows. Now, they will complete the pact of unity. The Elder opened the box to reveal two matching rings, glowing faintly with a soft blue light. These rings symbolize the bond you share. The Elder explained, when worn, they link your minds and hearts. You will feel each other's presence, even across great distances. Ren felt a strange warmth spread through his body as the rings were placed on his finger, and Nira's, the glow from the rings, pulsed gently, as if alive. Now, join hands, the Elder said. Ren and Nira took each other's hands. As their fingers touched, a bright light filled the room. The blue glow from the rings grew stronger, surrounding them like a protective shield. Ren felt a sudden rush of emotions. Nira's calm strength, her deep care for her people, and her fierce determination. At the same time, Nira sensed Ren's courage, kindness, and hope. It was more than a bond. It was a connection of minds and hearts. The crowd watched in awe as the light faded. Ren and Nira stood together, their hands still joined. The Elder smiled. The pact of unity is sealed. You are partners in every way. Your strength will protect Valen and his people. Ren looked at Nira. I feel different, stronger. Nira nodded. So do the first together. We are more than the sum of our parts. After the ceremony, Ren and Nira spent time talking with the people of Valen. Many came to congratulate them and offer their support. One young Valen, a warrior named Sora, approached Ren. I'm honored to fight alongside you, human. The pact brings hope to all of us. Ren smiled. Thank you, Sora. I am proud to stand with your people. As the days passed, Ren and Nira trained together to use their new bond. They practiced sharing thoughts, sending signals through the rings, and sensing danger before it came. One evening, while resting in the palace garden, Nira spoke softly. Ren, the Cretans are closer than we thought. Our scouts have reported their fleet moving toward Valen. Ren's expression grew serious. How much time do we have? Not much, Nira said. We must prepare our defenses and strengthen our bond. Ren looked up at the stars. We will face them together. The pact gives us hope. Nira reached out and took his hand. And with hope, we will protect our worlds. The days that followed were filled with preparation. The Valen ships were repaired and armed, and the warriors trained harder than ever. Ren and Nira's bond grew deeper. They shared dreams, fears, and plans, always supporting each other. One night, Ren woke from a dream, a vision of the Cretan ships arriving in the dark sky, their weapons glowing ominously. He reached for Nira's communicator ring and sent her a silent message. "They are coming." Nira answered quickly, "Prepare yourself. The battle begins soon." Ren sat up, feeling the weight of the coming fight, but he was no longer alone. Together, Ren and Nira were ready to face the darkness. The night sky above Valen was filled with stars, but beneath them, a shadow was growing. The Cretan fleet had arrived. Ren stood on the observation deck of the Valen Command Center, watching the dark shapes of enemy ships appearing at the edge of the atmosphere. Beside him, Princess Nira stood calm and steady, her hand resting lightly on his arm. Despite the tension in the air, her presence gave Ren strength. "The Cretans have many ships," Ren said quietly. "Do we have enough defenses?" Nira nodded. "Our forces are ready. The pact has strengthened us, but the battle will be difficult." Ren took a deep breath. He felt the cool metal of the ring on his finger, glowing softly. The bond between him and Nira hummed with energy, a constant reminder that they were connected. Suddenly, the enemy ships moved forward, and the battle began. Bright beams of light shot through space. As the Valen ships fired their weapons, explosions lit up the darkness, and the sounds of alarms filled the command center. Ren and Nira worked together, their minds linked by the pact. They shared strategies without speaking, moving quickly to direct the fleet and protect the planet below. In the chaos, Ren felt Nira's calm voice in his mind, guiding him. "Focus, Ren. Trust your instincts." Ren closed his eyes for a moment and reached out with his senses, even without sight. He could see the movement of the ships around him through their vibrations and sounds. Enemy ship approaching from the left, Ren warned. Nira responded instantly. "Divert shields, ready plasma cannons." The Valen ships shifted to block the attack. The enemy ship fired, but the shields held strong. As the battle raged, Ren noticed something unusual. A group of smaller Cretan ships was moving toward the planet's surface, trying to land troops. "We have intruders," Ren said urgently. "They are trying to attack from below." Nira's eyes narrowed. "We must stop them before they reach the cities." Ren and Nira split their focus, directing the space battle and preparing the ground defenses. Valen warriors armed themselves and took positions in the cities. Ren felt the weight of responsibility. He was not just a pilot or a warrior. He was a partner, linked by the pact to protect a whole world. In the midst of the battle, a powerful Cretan ship broke through the Valen defenses and headed straight for the palace. "Protect the palace," Nira commanded. Ren's heart raced. "I'll intercept it." He climbed into his fighter ship and soared into space, following the enemy vessel. The two ships clashed with bright flashes of light. Ren dodged attacks and fired back, feeling the bond with Nira guiding his every move. With a final, precise shot, Ren disabled the enemy ship. It spun out of control and exploded in a blaze of light, breathing heavily. Ren returned to the command center. Nira was waiting, her calm smile giving him hope. "You did well," she said. "We are stronger together." As the battle continued, Ren and Nira's bond deepened. They could share thoughts instantly and feel each other's emotions. This connection gave them an advantage over the Cretans, who fought with power but lacked unity. Slowly, the tide of the battle turned. The Cretan ships were pushed back, and the invading troops were defeated by the Valen warriors. Finally, the Cretan fleet retreated, disappearing into the darkness of space. A cheer rose from the Valen people. Their planet was safe for now. Ren looked at Nira. "We did it," Nira smiled, but her eyes showed concern. "The Cretans will return. We must be ready," Ren nodded. "Then we will be ready together." That night, under the bright stars, Ren and Nira stood side by side, knowing that their bond was the greatest strength they had. The battle for Valen was won, but the war was not over. And together, they would face whatever came next.